I did something wrong. I messed up. I gotta get back into it. Throwback Thursday. We good? How's the sound? Are we good? Can y'all hear me? You know it ain't guaranteed. Don't make me check myself. Just give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. So we gotta talk about something tonight, y'all. Parents who can't read. How can you raise a baby if you can't read? We gonna go deep, cause it happens. And we're gonna talk about it. Serious issue. I hope y'all feeling good. Like button, y'all. Let's go light. Yo, I said, yo, hold on, man. You know what? Let me put my struggle beads on tonight because we're going to be talking about a struggle. When you talking about not being able to read, you are definitely talking about being in a struggle. Literacy is important. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily. It's the Daily Go Get Mism Show. You think it won't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion to do this thing. Taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talk about how can you raise kids if you can't read tonight. Parents, growing up with parents who can't read. That's what we're talking about today. Growing up with parents who can't read. This is a serious issue. And it's not as uncommon as you may think. Literacy in the United States and worldwide is not a guaranteed thing. I know people who live in parts of the world where they have to pay to go to school or they can't go. There's no free education. You know, growing up in the United States, we take a free public education for granted. And we tend to think that everybody has that all around the world, and it's just not true. So people around the world have been able to make it. They've grown up all the way into adulthood without knowing how to read, which can limit the way that you communicate with people, especially if they don't speak the same language. There's a lot to this because it's so hard to learn how to speak another language if you don't know how to read. You know, reading the words can help you learn the words a lot easier, because if you can't read the words, then somebody has to interpret the words to you from a different language. And then you have to trust that they're saying the word the right way because you don't have no way of researching it. You can't Google it. Well, you can Google even if you don't know how to read because you can use the microphone feature. But who's going to tell you about the microphone feature? Somebody has to tell you about that because you sure didn't read about it. Sure didn't read about it. So that's what we're talking about tonight on the Daily Go Get Mism Show. So what's good? I am your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Get Mism Show. I'm feeling like a real man should. And I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should as well. So we're talking about growing up with parents who can't read. Growing up with parents who can't read, man. Growing up with parents who can't read. Growing up with parents who can't read. Give a shout out to my peoples. What's good, y'all? T. Carey Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Lauren, 1330, what's good? How you feeling? Thanks for the compliment on the sweater, Carrie. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Lauren says, Carrie, this is Baljeet on a fake account. And well, ain't that some shit? I'm done. I am so done. All right. What's up, Shell? What's good? What's good? What up, son? Shay Love Shay Love here. What's the word? Man, we're gonna speak today's mathematics today. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna speak today's mathematics. We good. Robin Ming, what's good, ma? How you feeling? Always good to see you. And JJ, what up, JJ? Shell says, yo, son, a lot of people learn English from soap operas and hip hop music reading in the USA. The thing is, there's a big difference from hearing somebody speak and understanding the words that they say and being able to actually read and write the words. You have to take into consideration that reading and writing is the most human thing that you can do. It's the one thing that no animal can do on its own, or no animal needs to do on its own. We're not sure about how even primates communicate. They make a bunch of noise, but they don't have what we would consider a language that they use with each other. Same thing with cats. Like Cats meow, but they only meow to human beings. Cats don't meow at each other. When they get ready to fight, they don't meow. They but they don't meow. Cats don't go up to each other and be like, meow. They don't do that. They don't do that at all. So, we're human beings. We talk and we read and we write. Those are the main tools of our communication. Where a person cannot read or write, they can still talk, and they can be taught to do that. But not being able to read separates you from most human beings. But illiteracy is a real thing. And for people who have skin as brown as mine, even all you light skins out there. What up, Carla? Carla. What's going on, ma? We come from illiteracy. We come from a history of not being able, we come from a history of legally not being able to be taught to read and write, even though there were some slaves who were taught to read and write because they helped out the master go in, sell his products and go into the town and whatever. But for the most of us, a slave history is an illiterate history. And many of us had to work our way out of that illiterate situation. And here we are today. And it always amazes me that many of us don't take advantage of the literary advantages that we have. Like, if you can outread and outwrite somebody, there's no limitations to how successful you can be. Because the more you read, the more pathways are forged in your brain. But if you can't read, or if you don't read, you don't even understand what I just said. But it's all good. It's all good. All right. So what we got? JJ, we got Carla. Carla says, can't help you, Lauren. I have beautiful locks. I don't even know the conversation y'all in, and I better not get into it. JJ says, absolutely. I can speak English and a little Japanese and Korean, but I couldn't read a stop sign in those countries. Carla says, son, I always love your attire. Man, y'all be making me blush. Hold on. Let me get my blush stance. Let me get my blush stance. Thanks. Yeah, I got this sweater. I thought maybe it would be cool to wear it. It make me feel good when people say I look nice. My mom told me to dress nice. And people might treat me good and not call me a bum. Go on. Yeah, so y'all know. All right, so what we got? What we got? When y'all see me looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the monitor, because the letters are bigger. The letters are bigger over there, son. All right, let me see. Randy said, who was the first place owner? I don't know what you're talking about. JJ says, I'm light-skinned as a motherfucker. Cool. And Randy says, if you care about slavery, can you tell me about slavery that happened literally today, or only do the slaves that look like you here hundreds of years ago matter to you? Well, see, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. And normally I wouldn't entertain that because that has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight. But since I brought it up and since you're going there, let me tell you something about slavery that a lot of people don't really understand or take time to understand. First of all, a slave history is not something that black people should ever be ashamed of. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like you chose it and got burnt by it or tricked into it or whatever. You were literally forced into it. and you were forced to stay in it. And you couldn't buy your way out of it by yourself because you didn't have any way to make money because it was free labor. And free labor pretty much built this country, especially the southern part of it. But it actually built the northern part too. But okay, now when you start talking about slavery, a lot of people want to talk about, well, you know, black people own slaves, and you know the Egyptians own the Egyptians had slavery and all of that kind of shit. And what people don't understand is that yes, slavery has existed all over the world for centuries and centuries. Yes, it has, but not chattel slavery. Chattel slavery is what was practiced in the United States. And if you go back to Pharaoh and slaves in Egypt or in Europe, which wasn't slavery, it was indentured servitude. But no man owned another person like livestock, except in the Americas. Whether you're talking about the Caribbean Americans or whether you're talking about North Americans, which would be us, or South Americans. That's where chattel slavery was developed, and that's where it was practiced. The word chattel itself means property. So we were chattel to white men, and only rich white men could own slaves. Excuse me. White women could not own slaves. They could acquire slaves in the event that their spouse passed, and then they would become a slave master. But they were not allowed to outright go to a slave auction and buy slaves because women were not allowed to own property. So in an inheritance, they could own, but slavery, chattel slavery, which means property slavery, which means that that one person, one human being actually owned another human being. That's what was practiced in the United States. That's what was practiced in South America. That's what was practiced in Caribbean America. And that's why we talk the way we did, because that's why we talk with an accent that we speak with, or vernacular that we speak with, is because we were not taught to read and write. So you take also illiterate white people from Europe who were not taught to read and write, which would explain the cowboy situation, the settlers moving west and all of that. Like, yes, black slaves were not the only people who were illiterate. All of those cowboys that you hear about, you know, out in Utah or out in Colorado, out in the Dakotas and all of that shit, they couldn't read. They were cattle. They were cattle hands, whatever you know, farm hands and shit like that. They didn't read and they didn't need to. And they also didn't brush their teeth. And toothaches was a motherfucker back. But anyway, so that's something that everybody should understand about slavery. Chattel slavery was practiced in the Americas. It wasn't practiced in Europe. It wasn't practiced in Africa. And that's what makes black people in the United States different than everybody else. So just a little lesson. I'm not telling you to be mad at nobody. And I'm not telling you what to do or how to feel. But it's important that we get the situation straight. Chattel slavery was practiced in the Americas. All that other slavery was synonymous with the word citizen. So if you weren't a pharaoh, if you weren't a king or queen, if you were a slave, that means you were just a citizen. But no man owned another man in Egypt or Africa or Asia or Europe. That was an American thing. And it's the one thing that American politicians try to sweep under the rug, because it's they dirty little secret. And for those of y'all who don't know, because I can't assume that everybody knows that, the Statue of Liberty was given to the United States by France as a celebration for the United States finally ending slavery. And the original Statue of Liberty actually had chains down by I can find me a picture of the original Statue of Liberty that the United States said, nah, we not that one, yo. You know what I mean? That shit too deep. Image of the original Statue of Liberty given by France to the United States. Okay. So this was the original. Wait a minute. Damn. All right. See the contrast? The original was a black woman. And down here, you can see the chains. And this is the one, they said, no, not this one. We'll take that one. Give us that one. Because there'll be too much guilt associated with this one. We'll fuck around and have to give those reparations if we accept that one. Plus, ain't no white people going to go inside of that one. They'll go inside of this one, but they ain't going inside of that one. Yeah. Fine. Damn, where's the one with the change? With the change, baby. The motherfucking chain. See, it's hard to see. But like that thing around her waist, I'm sorry. That thing around her waist and down here, if you expand it, those are supposed to be chains. Chains. So they were celebrating the United States finally breaking the chains because the United States was the last ones to end chattel slavery. Spain ended theirs. France ended theirs. England ended theirs. United States was like, shit. Only in the Civil War. And the Civil War was not about ending slavery. The Civil War was not about ending slavery. Don't let nobody tell you that bullshit. The Civil War was about money. The South was way richer than the North. So the North was like, listen, we need y'all to bond together. We need to bond together so we can get this money as one nation. The South was like, first of all, y'all poorer than us, y'all dumber than us, and we not doing it. So Abraham Lincoln was literally a racist, a white supremacist. He ain't like no black people. History is a motherfucker. All right, forget about all that. We're talking about growing up with parents who can't read. So this is what we're going to do. 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 I'm talking to you. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. This is what we're going to do. We going to say some stuff to you. Yeah. We about to make it through. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. Understand, my man. This is what we're going to do. 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 Hit the like button. This is what we're going to do. You ready? You come to the. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. My name is Son 7. What we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we, all right, let me put my toys away. Let me put my toys away. And this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. This is what we're going, all right. So, we're talking about growing up with parents who can't read. What do y'all know about growing up with parents who can't read? Listen, have you ever known anybody who couldn't read? Because if you've never known anybody who couldn't read, this might be a little bit harder to get into than people who have had the experience of being around people who couldn't read. Now, I've known people who couldn't read, grown people that had kids. And when you really think about a situation like that, it can make you sad right out the gate. Because you're thinking like, yo, what kind of chance does a young person have, a child, starting out in this world? What chance of success do they have starting at a deficit like that from illiterate parents? Now, you can be fully illiterate or you can be partially illiterate. Partially illiterate would be like Fantasia was before she learned how to read, because she does know how to read. But before, she really struggled, and she was very forthcoming and transparent about not being able to read. And, you know, she had a child. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that situation? Like, you got a whole baby that you have to raise, and you don't know how to read. Now, somebody like Fantasia, and I hate to use her as an example, but she's a good example because she's a positive example of success that had to struggle through that. Now, her generational curse with her family was that nobody graduated high school. But it wasn't just that nobody graduated high school. It was that many of them really couldn't read and write that well, which would explain her. She didn't have to go to school. Now, her dad, she grew up with a mom and a dad. Her dad literally had them, you know, they got a record contract and all of that shit, singing gospel music. They put out records. But he didn't make her go to school. Imagine being forced to practice music, but not being forced to go to school and learn. But this is indicative of another generational curse where if I had a hard time in school, let's say when I went to school, people were teasing me because I smelled like pee, or because I dressed like a bum, or because I didn't have nice clothes, or because my hair was nappy, or because I was ugly, or because I couldn't read very well. Y'all remember being in the classroom and the teacher having reading class, and you know, she would call out people to read. You remember your classmates, the ones that really struggled. Now, maybe when they called on you, you was already like, yeah, hickory dickory doctor, you know, mouse ran up the clock, and yeah, I mean, you could read. But you know, when they called on one of your friends or one of your classmates and they were struggling hard, the mouse. Yes, the mouse. Okay, the mouse was running. Yeah, the mouse was running down the hall. The mouse was running down the hall. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the cat chased the mouse. You know, somebody in the classroom got all impatient and shit. Then the cat saw the mouse and chased the mouse back into the mouse hole. And then the cat waited for the mouse to come out of the mouse hole. And then he caught the mouse and ate the mouse. The end. So we knew people in school that struggled to be able to read. R. Kelly had you can say whatever you want to about R. Kelly. R. Kelly could not read. And whether you understand the psychology of not being able to read and how it limits your decision making and your judgment. Imagine writing all of these songs for people without being able to read. So you have the mental capacity to remember the words that you want to say in a song, and the songs weren't even simple songs. And you could not only write songs for yourself, but you did it all through dictation. So you would tell somebody what you wanted to say, and then they would write down the lyrics, and then you would do the lyrics, but you could not somehow phonetically read and write the either somebody lying or that motherfucker is amazing as hell. Either somebody is lying and he really can read because he wrote mad songs for other people and nobody else gets credit for writing these songs except for him. But what do you mean he can't read? What are you saying? But it's an actual fact. So, and I believe R. Kelly has kids. So he's managed to rise out of poverty and become very successful. Although right now you would question his success. You know, got a little bit he got to do. But you know, what up, Mariah Jenkins? He says, my dad was illiterate and he was autistic. I'm glad you said that because we need to get into that. Undiagnosed mental illness. Real shit. You know how many people are out here who had learning disabilities that never went addressed, and a lot of times it happened in school, and they just put them in learning disability class and just kind of casted them aside. Nowadays in special ed, they work with kids a lot, and they identify the problems early, and they really try to work with them. And I've seen a lot of kids go through special ed and become successful and learn the things that they needed to learn, just like people in regular classrooms. But back in the day, I knew a bunch of kids that was in LD class, and we used to call them literally dumb. LD, that stands for literally dumb. We were cruel. We were cruel. Mariah says, did you know France wants the statue back? Yeah, they've been wanting it back. You know what I mean? They might as well have giving it back to them. They wasn't doing shit. What up, Crash? What's good? Brown Eyes. What up? What up? Just trying to make sure I catch everybody that's coming through. Make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Share the show. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna get my chair over here. I mean, if y'all allow me, I'm gonna go get my chair. Sitting here in this chair. Oh, baby, you see things my way. All right. So we talking about growing up with parents who can't read. I know a lot of people who went through this. I didn't really realize the amount of people I knew who had this situation going on. Because not everybody who has a reading problem or a literacy issue is forthcoming about it. It's embarrassing. You know, people have literally pretended to be reading newspapers and shit. They don't know what they looking at the pictures. They're looking at, you better be reading the Daily News, because you know the Daily News always has more pictures than the big newspaper. But a lot of people made it through life and had jobs and all of that kind of stuff because the technical jobs or the manual labor jobs back in the day didn't require an education. So people were able to secure those jobs and feed their families with it. So they were able to literally slip through the cracks. They were able to slip through the cracks. But it's a serious situation. Brown says, true, JJ. In the South, a lot of people didn't go to school or left school early to work or help family on farm. I've heard so many. My stepdad, he said that's the reason he dropped out in the 10th grade. He said he had to start working, to help his family out. Now, with that situation applying to so many people, sometimes I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I question the validity of it. I question the validity of it because it's so many people. Now you could say, well, if it's that many people, maybe it's all true. But you know how it is when, somebody heard somebody else say it, they start saying it too. I know that times were hard before the civil rights era, just like they were hard in the civil rights era. But shit, times are hard now. You know what I mean? In terms of literacy, for all my good readers out there, you've been around people who weren't so good. Some of those text messages that some of your friends and family send you be like, I ain't gonna say you can't read, but you sure as fuck can't spell. And you ain't seen a punctuation mark ever. Evidently, it ain't in none of these sentences. If sentences are what you want to call these fragments. And then we promote even more illiteracy with all this text lingo and shit. And then you got motherfuckers like, oh, that's a text message. You don't have to use all that punctuation. Motherfucker, you practice what you need to be good at. So you practice doing something wrong, guess what? You're going to get real good at it. And you might pass that on to somebody else, like your offspring. Like your offspring. So that's what we're talking about tonight, y'all. Growing up with parents who can't read. What you know? What do y'all know? Damn, man. Y'all been talking so much, I can't. By the way, Mariah, thanks for that super chat. You know what I mean? I've been so busy. My bad. I was so busy. I ain't even press the love button. I ain't even heart the joint. You know what I mean? You out here, supporting all heavy. My bad. One love. One. Thanks. I appreciate you. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I appreciate each and every time you come through. And to think that you started off with troll, now you are in this thing, total control. Yo, when it's real, it's a fam type of deal. You understand the spill. And I'ma make sure that nobody comes through front. Let me tell you a little something. Anybody that puts up a donation, ain't no nation like a donation. What is you talking about? I just want to thank you for helping on out. And every little bit counts. And it counts in large amounts. It starts at 1 until the day is done. Because nobody knows when the math ends, but it ain't going to end today. Hey. Thank you. 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 What? Y'all be doing roll call up in this. What we doing, y'all? All right. Let me see. JJ says, I actually don't know if my grandparents could read or not. They passed before I arrived. They were extremely poor and never made it out of the sharecropper's life. Fortunately, their kids did well. See, when we start talking about poverty, sometimes we forget about the educational piece of it or the lack thereof. You know what I mean? With poverty often comes a lack of education. And when you think about it, it makes nothing but sense, because if you really had a good education or a decent education or a formidable education, you're going to find a way. You're going to find options to poverty. That's what an education does. And reading is at the crux of that. It's the fundamental piece. It's hard to educate yourself without being able to read. Surely, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Surely, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. And the change. What's good? Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. And the change. He said, you're speaking facts about the punctuations. Come on, man. And you know, and then motherfuckers want to catch an attitude where you be like, yo, what is this shit you be writing? I'm just saying, it's only a text message. I mean, why you bitching? It's a text message. Online. Yo, homie, this is, you know what I mean? This ain't English class. This just a post. It's just a post. You don't want me to comment on your shit? Y'all niggas is dumb. Y'all niggas is dumb. Y'all niggas is. Yeah, yo, that song got cut off. It was only saved. You see me, I was about to grab the bongos, baby. All right, let's see what this call is about. Hold on.
You have a call from.
Caller with the last numbers 5905. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. What's on your mind this evening? What's good?
Can I finger my sister's butthole?
Oh, God. I mean, did y'all know? Did y'all know?
I'm jerking off to my sister's butthole.
Yeah, just a butthole, huh?
Yeah.
Just a butthole?
I like that.
Yeah.
Probably correct.
Well, I'll give it to you. You have some tact. You called it a butthole instead of her asshole. So, I got to commend you for that. But you're an asshole. Matter of fact, you're an asshole. You're a whole ass. You're a whole ass, homie. But what else you got? What else you got? I'm going to give you a chance. Go ahead. What else you got?
I'm jerking off to my sister.
Oh, God. You got something in your mouth, dickhead. Motherfucker chewing gum. What the fuck is you? What you spitting tobacco? Damn, man. You're the worst troll that ever called. No. I'm about to award you. You are the worst troll who ever called into the show. Bad trolls. That's what you are. That's what you are. Bad trolls. Now listen, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to let you call me back because I'm cutting you the fuck off because I don't like the way you troll. You troll bad. You troll like you stink. I can tell you stink. I can tell by the last 4 digits of your telephone number that you stink. You over there stinking, and I know you stinking because you said you was jerking off to your sister's butthole. So, and I know that stink. I know that stink. I know you stink, and I'm gonna let you get yourself together. You call back with better trolling material, but I gotta go for that. Fuck out of here. All right, now where was I? Fuck! Somebody re-roll the tape. I had a song coming. What was the song I was singing, y'all? What the fuck? What was it? It wasn't trolling. What was the song? I was getting to it. What up, Wisdom? Wisdom says reading is easiest in your mother tongue. No mental Google Translate running in the background. When you learn in your own language, your brain works on ideas, not on subtitles. Word. But what was the song I was about to do? Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas ain't shit. Y'all niggas is dumb. No dumb ass niggas. Don't come around me talking figures. You ain't got no money cause you can't read, and I know ain't nobody giving you money. Maybe you're selling drugs, but you ain't selling drugs real good cause you can't read. So you get jerked out of your read. You can't read. Can't sell no drugs, read. And I know if you can't read, you can't do no math, so you be weighing your shit wrong. You ain't making no money selling drugs. But they would teach you how to read in jail. If you're blind, they read in braille. I said, you how to read in jail. Get your GED, baby. Get your GED. Get your GED. GED classes in jail, baby. You gonna get them. What up, Nicole Ellis? What up? What up? What up? What up? How you feeling tonight? How y'all feeling? What's good? Marvina Bigby. Hit the like button, y'all. I need y'all to hit the like button. We doing too much tonight. Even I can admit that. I know I'm doing too much. We are talking about growing up with parents who can't read, baby. Growing up with parents who can't read. What we doing? What we doing? It's a serious situation. And it don't matter whether you grew up in the projects or grew up around the way or in the trailer park or whatever. Parents who struggled in school, parents who were teased or bullied in school, often just teach their kids how to fight. Like, I can't teach you how to read. I can't teach you how to count. I can't teach you how to do math. I can't check your homework well. But what I can do is I can show you how to defend yourself against them smart motherfuckers that tease you. And trust me, I'm going to show you how to knock them out or knock them on their ass to the point where they will never tease you again. But you ain't going to learn shit because I don't have anything to teach you except for like raw life shit. So I might be able to teach you how to cook. I might be able to teach you how to clean. I might be able to teach you how to maybe drive a car or something like that. But when it comes to anything intellectual, I don't have it like that. And so if as a kid, I was teased in school, I'm probably going to be worried about defense when it comes to my kids, because that's all I can give back to them. I can't check their homework. I mean, think about it. How are you going to really push your kids to go to school if that's a place of contention for you? And like on the days where your kids don't want to go to school, are you going to be like, nah, you got to go? Or are you going to be like, nah, I understand. You can stay home today. As a matter of fact, you can take this week off. We can start fresh on Monday. Now, I'm not saying that all parents who couldn't read went through that situation or that they wouldn't push their kids to be better than they were. Not saying that at all. But you have to take into consideration the cycle of poverty and the cycle of low education or no education or miseducation. These are serious things you have to take into consideration. Like Carla and whoever has done any teaching or worked in the educational system, y'all know about kids who are unruly or disruptive. And then when they parents come up to the school after they get suspended or if you have requested to talk to them and you see exactly where they get their unruliness from, you see it. The parents don't know how to do nothing but fight and verbally defend themselves. But you ask them to write a paragraph, they like, a what? A paragraph, ain't that what you use when you jump out of planes? Like, yo, he jumping out of a plane. He need a paragraph. You pull the little string so the paragraph come out. Or drag racing. The car goes so fast that for it to stop, they have to put the paragraph out in the back of it. They don't know nothing about no paragraph, baby. They don't know nothing about no paragraph. Okay. Okay. But yeah, man. This is real shit. And, you find out the who's who. in the unlikeliest of ways. Like I said, if you are a teacher or you work in an educational system some kind of way, and you see where these children, you can kind of extrapolate. That's when you like kind of calculate how far something is going to go because of the probability of what it can do. You learn that term in statistics class. Definitely got to learn how to read if you're going to take stat. It's kind of a difficult class. I'm drinking my locally famous colon ream. Brown Eye says, yeah, I've seen his comments on other shows. He is what he is. Carla says, exactly. They be so lost and parents really didn't care really at all. They don't know no better. And one thing about reading is it will show you better. You know, I mean, people be like, no, they don't know no better. Well, the more you read, the better you know. You can't be an avid reader and then act like you don't know no better. Because somewhere along the line of what you're reading, no matter what it is, it's going to show you better. Because you can't read a lot and not build those pathways in your mind. It gives you mad ideas. And your options start to expand. When you can't read, you can't research. And so your options become more and more limited. And that's why you can stay in poverty. You know, if you want to get a clear explanation for the poverty situation and definitely the welfare situation, which is a poverty situation, you have to look no farther than the educational system or the education of the individuals that may be engulfed in poverty. You don't have to look too much farther than that. Y'all doing a lot. Yes, this is called colon ream. This is my trademark drink. It's called colon ream. And yes, this shit will clean all of that shit out of you. I drink it every day. And every day it does what I needed to do. Shit is real out here, son. Shit is real. Hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Sun752. I'm feeling like a real man should. I hope y'all feel like real men and women should as well. We are talking about growing up with parents who can't read. Growing up with parents who can't read. It's easy to blow off this topic if your parents could read. If your parents used to make sure that you did your homework, they would check your homework, they would correct your homework. They would call your teachers and make sure that you brought the proper amount of homework home. They would help you with your projects and all that kind of stuff. If you grew up with parents like that, then yeah, this is a hard topic for you to get into. It may be a hard topic for you to get into. But if you've been near this kind of shit, because it didn't have to be in your household. It could have been one of your friends, neighbors. It could have been one of your classmates. Have you ever been good in your classes, but was friends with somebody that wasn't that good in their classes? They may not have been disruptive or a class clown or anything like that, but on the low, they just weren't good in school. Maybe you let them cheat off your paper sometimes. Maybe you didn't. But they were a good friend of yours. You go over their house and you start seeing what the situation is all about. Like, oh shit, it's bad here. This motherfucker come from a big ass family. Ain't an inch of space up in this bitch. They wall to wall up in this motherfucker. I mean, damn near double-digit brothers and sisters. And ain't nobody that smart. Some of these motherfuckers going back and forth to jails is pregnant women all over the place. We got the poverty popping up in this bitch. Roaches and shit. Okay. I ain't gonna be over here long, but this is my homie. This is my homie's house. Who was friends with the boy who smelled like pee? Who was good friends with the pee boy? I remember my pee boy from second grade. And he grew up. And one thing I know for sure, you never forget the motherfucker in your class that smelled like pee. You'll never forget. You might not remember his name, but you will remember. Smell like pee, smell like pee. And you also don't remember the motherfucker that couldn't read. And when you see them later on, maybe y'all didn't go to the same high school or something like that, but when you see them later on, you be wondering. I know the pee boy. Whenever I saw him as we became teenagers and in our 20s and all of that, I think the last time I saw him, I was in my 30s. And I was like, yo, he fixed it. He finally fixed that part. He was the pee boy. And, it was a weird situation because he had good hair. He had good hair and he was the pee boy. He couldn't even utilize his good hair because he smelled like pee. Yeah. Let me see. Brown Eye says, my mother was big on education, so it was hard to see others struggle. JJ says, I used to have my magic elixirs. I just got lazy. I need to get back on it. Just got back on some workouts this week after a little rest from some back issues. Oh, back issues. Lord. Yeah, man. I was suffering from that a couple of weeks ago. That shit was raz. That shit was real. It hit me on New Year's Eve. Brought me down like a ton of bricks. I was chilling for the next 3-4 days, like, but look at me now. If me mother could only see me now. Carrie says, not me. I got burned by him. in K5. Motherfucker slammed my hand in between the desks. Well, I'm sorry, he slammed my hand in between the desks. He slammed my hand in between the desks. He caught a pencil in the middle of his hand. Yeah, he slammed my hand in the desks, and he caught a pencil to the middle of his hand. I poked that nigga. I stabbed that nigga. I jabbed that nigga. All because I tried to help him read. God damn. Damn. If what the fuck is we doing was a person. Brad says he wasn't the pee boy. He was the boogie boy. Nose stayed filled with boogies. I couldn't eat around him, but he was cool. Oh shit. Wait. Cheryl says I was friends with a girl who smelled like under. Hold on, chill. I was friends with a girl who smelled like underarms, shaking my head. It was so hard to let her know because she didn't smell it. Funky. Spooky. What we doing? What we doing? Nicole says, I was friends with the kid who didn't dress nice. It's sad. I had a bully when I was young and I didn't have anything wrong. Kids was just mean. Yeah, they was. Mean ass kids. Bad kids. Bad kids. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Trees for You says maybe it was the moisturizer in his hair smelling like pee. OG. Can't be judgmental. Yo, no. I found out why like little niggas used to smell like pee, because they peed in the bed. And they moms sometimes would be like, you know what, since you want to pee in the bed, that's how you going to school. So I guess they mom didn't make them wash up in the morning. You know, they laid in that pee all night. And can you imagine what their mattress was like? Because the pee wasn't in their clothes. It was on their body. Probably. All I know is I smell like pee. I said me. Shit. I ain't never smelled like pee. But I remember the pee boy. And it ain't about not being judgmental. If somebody smell like pee, you got the right to talk about that. Just like they got the right to smell like pee. I smelled a grown man today that I see often. He smelled like he take urine showers. And I ain't talking about the good sexual kind. You know the good sexual, like that song by The Who. That song by The Who. Lord, pee on me, pee on me, pee on. Lord, pee on me, pee on me, pee. Don't tell me y'all not fans of The Who. It's a really dope group. It's a really dope group, The Who was. Anyway, I said, what's hygiene got to do with reading? Shit, we talking about poverty. We're not getting off the topic of nothing. Carla says, PP pants. Cheryl, I know grown folks who smell like they wanted to be alone. In my dad voice. Nicole says, it's sad when kids have those problems. They are poor and don't have what other kids have. That's not funny. The cycle of poverty and the cycle of low education seem to go hand in hand. It's hard to have poverty without having lack of education. It's hard. It's much harder because if you have an education, and I'm not just talking about a formal education, but if you know how to read enough, and if you have respect for education, if you have respect for learning, you're going to find a way up out of your negative condition. The really sad part about this is, without knowing how to read, without knowing how to write, without knowing how to count very well, your options become limited to almost animalistic types of tendencies. Animals can't read and they can't write. And they don't need to, because they don't need the kind of comprehension that a human being does. But a human being that can't read and can't write is limited to so little options because it's very hard to get a really good job when you don't know how to read and write, because somebody has to walk you through the process of the application or the resume, the interview, and all of that kind of stuff. See, those manual labor jobs that used to exist back in the day, all of those factory jobs, they don't exist anymore. There are no factory jobs. There are no factories. We ain't got that no more. That's a wrap. So nowadays, you gotta be able to read. You gotta at least be able to text. Come on. Come on, nigga. You know what I mean? You've been here every night harassing me. You want to harass. You want to harass niggas. Niggas want to harass. And you're dumb. You can't read. You can't read. You can't read. Don't scratch my pants. That's the rule. Lucky I took the allergy pill ahead of time, because she be fucking me up. But yeah. Now the thing about it is, like I said, when you lack education and you're poor, the likelihood that you're gonna turn to criminal activity is high. And one of the reasons is because somebody just like you is going to try to find a way to get up out of their negative condition, whether it's selling drugs, whether it's robbing somebody, robbing and stealing, or doing something else to get a couple of dollars. You know what I mean? One thing about poverty is nobody wants to be there. But without educational opportunities and without any type of educational acumen, you don't know how to get up out of it. So when somebody comes along with you with a criminal activity or some idea of how to hit a fast lick, yeah, it's going to make sense to you. So that's why so many people who are uneducated and poor end up in jail. Plus, they can't afford, good legal representation. You dealing with a lawyer. Lawyers don't do nothing but read. This shit ain't this ain't TV or the movies where lawyers are in trial all the time. They hardly ever in trial. They do most of their shit just reading shit and making phone calls like, all right, look, we trying to settle this thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm representing my client, whatever, send them money. Send them money. Okay, wait a minute. Let me see. Hold on. JJ says, other people were trying to figure out which of you I was wafting their way when you were together. JJ says, I worked in nursing homes. I know a whole bunch of folks who smell like pee. Yo, oh my God, nursing homes be ooh. Carla says, damn, son gonna make me pee my pants. Did you do it? All right, Nicole says, some kids are abused, and that's why they pee in the bed. Sometimes you have to know the issues as to why kids are the way they are. Now, that's an actual fact. That's definitely an actual fact. And even if they weren't abused, they could still have some kind of problem. And parents who may not know any better don't know how to address that situation other than violence. One thing that lack of education does, especially not being able to read, it makes you turn to violence. You know, I'm going to use this example since it's Throwback Thursday, but and it may not make sense to a lot of people. But remember the movie. Remember the TV show Happy Days. Remember the Fonz. Remember how the Fonz would hit things and make lights turn on, knock on things, make things turn off. You know what I mean? Like he was magic. Even just those images. We see those types of images. And you know how it makes sense to us. Can't make something do what you needed to do? Tap on it, hit it, strike it, see if it works. TVs back in the day, you used to be able to knock on the side of it, it stopped the static. It improved the picture. Those are inanimate objects. Unfortunately, sometimes we think people are going to do that too. Sometimes we think people are going to do the same things. If we hit them, then they'll act the way they'll do what we told them to do. They'll act the way we want them to act because nobody wants to get hit. Nobody wants to get hurt. It'll work for a time, but it's not going to keep working. JG says, all kidding aside, there are a lot of underlying issues in kids and adults that cause funky funks. Word. I know I'm far up in the comments, but you know. All right. Life is Precious says, what does gotta do with America's finish? You sure that's what you wanted to write, homie? That's what you wanted to do? Said, us poor people, we funded McDonald's, Burger King, Disney World, Hollywood, MTV, Sega Genesis, Super Mario, Barbie, American Candy. The people gave you 900 trillion. With all due respect, fuck is you talking about? Okay, JJ says, I do believe that that over the last 40 years, there's little excuse other than pride for not learning to read. We have so many resources available for kids and adults if they just ask for help. That's true. But you know, one thing about opportunities and one thing about resources is that you have to be present for them. Yes, they are out there. There are many opportunities out there, and there are many resources out there, but you have to be in the right places in order to get them, you know, to see where they are presented. And if you're forced to stay in the house or you're being controlled by somebody who doesn't know anything except for how to keep you safe or keep you in the house or whatever, or, you know, keep you away from the rest of the world because it's so dangerous out there, you won't seize any of those opportunities. You won't be privy to any of those resources. So you're right. You're right. But the thing is, for the people who are there for it, they'll be able to take advantage of it. And for the people who never saw where those resources are coming from, they don't know nothing about it. Lexi 752. More than a dink. What's good? Okay. Enzo Piccolo? What's good? Free Palestine, shout out from France. That's what's up. Bonjour. What up? Sue, what up, Sue? All right. Nicole says, I was poor and my parents couldn't read. They had to leave school to help take care of the family. I was in the system and in foster care. Then I was adopted at 7 years old. Then things got better. Well, you know what? I'm really glad to hear that things got better, because that is the ending that I'm looking for. Or should I say the continuation that I'm looking for? I'm curious. Growing up with parents who couldn't read, okay, now you said that you were adopted. So does that mean that you're no longer with your biological parents? Or do you still have any contact with them? Because I know people who have been fully raised by their parents who couldn't read. And I've known people who had parents who could read a little bit and really thought they could read, but they really couldn't. They were functionally illiterate. Functionally illiterate. That's literally what they were. Robbie Robin Ming says, what's really sad is when a mother has 9 kids and wouldn't dress her kids, but every time she came to school, she was always dressed up. I worked with autistic kids, and I did a one-on-one with a boy. Mom dressed to the nines, huh? Fly. Got the kids looking like Buster Bum. Robbie Brown says the school district labeled him autistic. He wasn't autistic at all. It was his mother wasn't taking time with him. That happens a lot. And it's funny because Dr. Umar talks about that a lot. A lot of these kids are getting mislabeled as autistic when that's not it. Just nobody is taking the time to actually work with them. They just want to get them on the drugs. What are you doing? My cat done found a bag. You know, when cats find a bag or a box, it be on. It be on. Leppy Lepson says, you a pastor? You ain't talking about me. I ain't no pastor. I ain't no pastor. Can I get a birthday shout out tomorrow? A shout out, it's tomorrow. But come back tomorrow and I'll do it. Tell you what, I'll think about it. JJ says, that's true. I'm sure some of those people don't even know that the resources exist. It's not that they read about it. It's not like they read about it in the paper. Oh, shit. Not that you need this explanation, but for anybody who doesn't understand, it's like this. You ever miss a party? You ever miss a party and you know, it's always the party you miss where they be like, oh my God, yo, you should have been there. Yo, remember that chick that had her eye on you? Yo, she was there. She was there naked, dog. She was there naked, and she said, don't nobody touch me except for him. I'm waiting for him. Yo, we kept trying to call you. We was texting you and everything. You wasn't answering. You wasn't picking up. But you should have been at this party. It's like that. It's like, had you been at the party, you would have saw what party favors was being given out. You would have had your eyes on it. You would have heard the music. You would have been present. You would have known what was going on. So whatever was being offered there, you would have been a part of it. But without you being there, you ain't know nothing about it. So, you know how many people wish that they had went to the Oprah show that day when she was giving away them cars? It didn't happen again. So, you know, when you're not there, when you're not present, You know, when the presents start coming out or start being given out and you're not there, you missed that day. And if nobody knows that you were supposed to be there and they never say anything, you don't even know. You don't even know what you could have had. All you know is that all you have is what you have. Oh, damn, Nicole said, my parents passed away and my adopted parents have passed away too. Damn. Man, may they all rest in power. Sheesh. Let me see. Wisdom said, I do agree that parents don't spend much time with their children, but autism is a special condition. It's not treated as a disease, but a different way of thinking. Hence, they need special attention. Now, the thing is, there are different levels of autism. And since they took the word retarded out of the, they so-called took the word retarded out of the vocabulary of what's politically correct. Now you don't get a correct diagnosis on everybody. Now in psychology, the word retarded still exists, and it should, because there's a difference between autism and retardation. There is. There's just, you know what I mean? You're not see, because we bullied people when we was younger, or should I say, the Gen X people. They did so much bullying. Now we can't fucking talk, which means that we have miscommunication, and now certain people can't get the help that they need. Okay. My man Jay Sloan is in the house. What up? What up? What up, my dude? What's good? Okay. All right, I got you. See, with one thing about people who can't read is that it's embarrassing for them. You know, they can get triggered of when they were in school, when they were younger, and they had trouble reading, and people may have teased them. You know, so not being able to read is something that a lot of people try to conceal. And the same way that we say a closed mouth don't get fed. Well, we don't know that you can't read. We can't give you the help that you need. And there are so many programs and so many people willing to help out adults who can't read or don't read well, because they know we all know what a serious problem that is. I mean, if you are totally illiterate to whereas you can't even read street signs or whatever, that means you can't use a map. You can barely use the fucking GPS when you think about it. You need to be able to read some shit. I mean, can you imagine being so illiterate that the GPS tells you to make a right on this street or that street, and you hear the street, but you can't tell the street because you can't read that. I mean, you literally can't read on that level. It's real. That shit is real as hell. Now, this show wasn't developed or created in any way to demonize people or make people look bad or feel bad. That's never my goal. Except for some trolls. But no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But when you don't know certain things and you don't know how to help people, I've had people I used to work with this Puerto Rican old head dude. He used to front like he couldn't read. Motherfucker was smarter than most of us. But he used to just like to, he used to just like to see the reaction of people. He used to do the dumbest shit. But he used to act like he couldn't read. He would bring me a piece of paper. And he'd be like, listen, look, boss, I signed this. And it would have like an X on it. I'd be like, what's this? He'd be like, that's my signature. Like this motherfucker is a slave or some shit. Like the X, I can't read. I can't read or write. Like motherfucker, you was in the army. Yeah, well, back in those days, you didn't have to know how. Lying. But you got real people that can't read, and they're not joking around when they say they can't read. They're not playing those games. Or they may totally conceal the fact that they can't read because they're embarrassed. And here's the thing. Here's the most, I'm not going to say it's the most concerning thing, but it is a point of concern. When you can't read, people who can't read think that if only they could read, then their situation, then that's all they need. It's the thing that's been missing in their lives, their whole lives. And they figure if I only knew how to read, I could do anything. I could conquer the world. I could be a king in a day. And that's just them getting up, in line with what everybody else can do. Look, this guy can read. I guess he was the guy who was bad in school and had to, write a word 100 times. So the word he had to write all those times was bald head. But he got it right. Repetition. Yo, stop spamming though. Stop fucking spamming. Okay, now you're done. Now you're done. You're done, son. You got fucked up. Yeah. You was gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. All right. Carla says, is the Sandman sprinkling something in your eye, son? Nah, I'm good. Why? Why you say that? What made you say that? What made you say that, ma? Now we good. We good. We good. Everything good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Yeah. People who I fell asleep on camera? No, I didn't fall asleep this time. Now, I've definitely fallen asleep before on camera, but not tonight. I'm actually good tonight. No, y'all didn't see. I didn't sleep tonight. Now, it's funny because the times I have fallen asleep, nobody ever says shit. But no, I'm good tonight. I'm actually pretty energetic tonight. I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Jason says, I'm amazed at the inventiveness and improvisational ability it takes for all adults to conceal the fact that they can't read. It's mind-blowing. Yes. Yes. It's like a chick with a face full of makeup, weave and wigs. Like, yo, you get better and better at hiding that shit. Better and better at hiding that shit. And they really believe that if only they could learn how to read, everything would be okay. Everything. So reading for them is like how we fantasize about winning the lottery. Yo, if I could just hit that Powerball, man, I'd be straight. They're saying this about just being able to read. They just want to be up to snuff, up to speed with regular people. What's up, Matthew? What's good? JJ says it would take more work to conceal the fact that you can't read than it would to learn to read. Actually, that's not true. Not in the English language. The English language is hard. We take for granted that it's easy because that's what we learned. But it's absolutely the hardest and most confusing language on earth. It makes no sense. Carla says, son, but they can count those coins though. Can they? On some real shit. Can they? Because now y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am. But I'm under the impression that if you can't read very well, you probably can't count very high. Real shit. Think about the amount of musicians who didn't go to school or didn't graduate. I mean, there's so many entertainers, people that we know in the entertainment industry that never graduated high school. The Rat Pack, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., the super famous one, you know, what's his name? You know, New York. Anyway, none of the motherfuckers graduated high school. And there's a good chance that some of them probably couldn't read all that well. Yeah, Frank Sinatra. Thank you. It was not, yo. But once again, we're talking about motherfuckers that grew up back in the day when you could get through, you could get by without a good education. But many of them got shitted on their contracts. Why? Because I imagine because many of them couldn't read. James Brown admitted, he's like, listen, man, I barely went to school after the third or fourth grade. I can't read and write too well. So how you know those numbers are right? Ray Charles, in the beginning, before he was making big money, he wanted to get paid at every show in $1 bills. So he knew how much he was getting paid. Because he was blind. Metaphorically, if you can't read a contract because you can't read, you're as good as a blind person. How do you know how much you're supposed to get? Can you count to 1,000? 1,000,000?
You have a call from
Donald Trump. You're new. Not like Brad Pitt amount of money. I'm talking like Bill freaking Gates amount of money, okay? I want a good donation.
Man, we heard this one before. God, they gotta get a better John, man. They be all using the same shit. The same shit. I need y'all trolls to get a better service. Y'all comedy, that comedy shit, that comedy channel ain't working. It ain't it. Wisdom says, agree. We need basic education at basic level and at least to read level, but many countries doesn't have the facilities because English is not the mother tongue. In India, government school does not have English. Okay. All right. Queen Monica. She says it's difficult. Repetition. Okay. Brown Eye says being able to read would be like winning the lottery. Yeah. To them, they figured like they made it this far without being able to read. If they could read, then they figured they could top off everything. They could complete the job and everything. You know, if they could read, they would go out and show off they reading. Like, yo, check this out. Yo, I got this book. I'm about to read it to you. The whole thing. It's the only thing they've been missing. And it's a major piece. JJ says to a degree, but they could become functional readers without too much effort. They may not read War and Peace or legal contracts, but they could get basic words and sign their names. Yes. And those are the first steps to signing a fucked up contract. You basically, made a deal with the devil. If you had a lawyer take a look at the contract, which is a resource for you that you could actually afford, or if you could read it yourself and you took your time, you would see that it was an oppressive contract that you sold. And now you trying to get out of that shit, but you signed it. Queen Monica says, I know people with dyslexia, and that makes reading and writing and math difficult. It does. And a lot of times it goes undiagnosed. I had a science teacher who had dyslexia. Man, I love that man. He was the greatest. Mr. Totley. Mr. Totley, that was my dude. May he rest in peace. He was a good man. His dyslexia didn't hold him back. But like, he'd be like, so when y'all see A, B, C, D, that's what y'all see. He said, that's not what I see. He said, I don't see A, B, C. I see D, C, B, A. I said, damn, you got it. Yo, your eyes inverted, son. Your eyes inverted. You should, you know what? You should be taught in Arabic or Hebrew. So you can go right to left instead of left to right. Huh? You was born in the wrong region. That's all. JJ says, I've known people who use an X to sign their checks, but they were sharper with money than I am. They may have been more savvy. There's a difference between, I don't know, man. I don't know. I ain't gonna say if you can't read, it should seem like it would be easier to fool you. But I do think so. Queen Monica says, there is a black newscaster who was illiterate until he was 14. He wrote a book. He's also an anchor on 60 Minutes. But goddamn, what's his name? And Jason says, I know how it feels to try to read a foreign language that you can speak fluently, but that never learned to read. I mean, languages that don't use Latin script. Monica says, yep, that's right. It's like translating another language. My man, Time. What up, my dude? How you feeling? Good to see you. Good to see you. Better late than never, right? We good. I don't see how you can learn another language if you can't read. I know people who have done it, but you got to think like this, because I think about this shit a lot. And when I worked in a warehouse where it was predominantly Hispanic, I'm talking about 95%. They was dominating that shit up in North Jersey. And I used to wonder how come like boxers like Felix Trinidad and Julio Cesar Chavez, how come they had been in this country so long, but didn't know no English until I worked in that warehouse. And it became crystal clear of why it was so difficult for them to learn the language. At first, I thought they were just being resistant. Like maybe they were just loyal to their own country and they didn't want to learn English. And I also believe that some of them even tried to pitch that bullshit. But the real reason was because many of them were illiterate. And it's hard as fuck to learn a new language or a foreign language when you can't read your own language. See, when you can read, you can phonetically sound out the words, the vocabulary of another language. If you can't do that in your own language, if you can't read, then the way that you learn to talk was by being taught words by other people verbally. You didn't read those words. You only know the words verbally. So when somebody uses a word that you don't know, you have to count on them to give you an accurate definition of what that word is. And you have to take for granted that they're saying the word correctly. Follow me on this. So in the Caribbean islands, whether you're talking about Spanish, English, or French, they do not speak the proper, let's not say proper. The standard code of that language. The United States, too. We don't speak English. We speak what they call now American English. It's wrong. If you're talking about English, it's wrong. America the United States can have all of the ego that they want. We do not speak proper standard English. We just don't. So imagine being in the Caribbean where they speak a patois of Spanish, English, and French. So they're already speaking the language totally wrong with a lot of slang. And then you're going to and then you can't even read the proper way to say those words. And then you're going to be taught another language by somebody else. You're about as good as a parrot. So somebody can teach you a word like this word means that, and that word means this. So when you ask them, oh, how do you say it again? Okay, the word is blah, blah, blah. But, you have to try to mimic what they're saying because you can't put it on paper and figure out how to say it that way. So the plot thickens more and more. So a lot of parents come from the Caribbean, come from Central America, come from Mexico, and other countries. And let's say those parents can't read. Now you done brought your babies over here. So let's say you send your kids to school, they need to learn how to speak English. And you're struggling to learn English because you don't know how to read. And now your child is going to struggle with learning English too because you didn't know how to read, so you couldn't help them practice. And that's why I say the plot thickens. The shit starts rolling downhill. Wisdom says people good in English, which is not their mother language, spend most of their time in translation internally. It's a sad story. Tom says, son, my mother and father being from Panama and Costa Rica, I definitely know Spanish and I know a little Portuguese. I work with a lot of Haitian. What is it that hard? Are you talking Asian? That's different. Well, the only hard things to do in this world are the things that you don't know how to do. So reading is hard when you don't know how to read. Learning a new language is hard when you don't know how to read. Because you probably don't know how to talk properly either. And you don't even know that. Because, I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to look it up? How are you going to look up the proper way to say things and write things? You can't read. So that little basic standard part of communication is missing for you. Not you personally, but you understand what I mean. Jason says, learning to read any language builds certain neural pathways, and the existence of those pathways makes it easier to learn a variety of other things. Facts. Okay, Queen Monica says, Byron Potts, stepping out on nothing. He said even in church that they would put programs and hymns in front of him. That meant nothing because the letters didn't mean anything. Tom says, learning how we speak Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, that's going to take some work. But I'll love going to the Dominican Republic because Haley is right. Oh, Haiti is right there, and you have Haitians who can speak Spanish. There are some I've known some Haitians that can speak Spanish, but I hardly know any Dominicans that can speak Haitian. So arrogant. So arrogant. JJ says, yeah, son, Mexico and America do not speak through, and South America do not speak true Spanish. There are some different dialects for each region. Plus the entire continent is different from Castilian Spanish. Yeah. Now, South Americans speak a better Spanish than the Caribbeans, and come to find out that they look down on the Caribbeans, Spanish speaking peoples. I swear, man, this shit don't stop. It don't stop. Queen Monica says he also stuttered. He used to memorize everything so he wouldn't have to read off the prompters. Okay. Okay. You know, I went back. God damn, nigga. The fuck? She just tear up anything. Anything. Ugh. All right. I was looking at one of my old videos, a clip from one of my old videos. And I think I did this in 2020. At least that's when I uploaded it. What the fuck, man? This ain't it. All right. Let me see. So check this out, y'all. Chill. Shit. Hold on. They about to be an LD. No child left behind. I said LD. You got 4-year-olds that are able to read books. I know mine did. So you didn't start your child in school till 6th grade and they didn't know shit. They about to be an LD. No child left behind. I said LD. They ain't never gonna shine. I said LD. Learning disability. LD. Learning disability. LD. Learning disability. LD. Learning disability. And I ain't trying to diss no kids, and I guess I really just did. But I don't mean to do it like that. They ain't watching this show anyway. It's gonna be alright. But you let your child be dumb and stupid and like, where they from? Yo, what's going on with the mom and the dad? Yo, y'all shit is fucked up. You had one child. You had one job. You had one child. You had one job. You had one job. You had one child. You had one job. You had one child. So now you covering up. No, ain't nothing wrong with my baby. He can read. She can read. No, he can't. No, she can't. You can't even memorize the ABCs. You know how when we was younger, first of all, the ABCs are in a song. That's what makes it so easy to remember. But some people, you know how when we was younger and we ain't like to do our homework or we got a bad test on, a grade on a test or we brought home a report card that was less than stellar, and our moms and, our fathers or whatever would be like, you know, you can memorize all the words to them songs, but you can't memorize your you can't learn your schoolwork or whatever. Well, you got a child that can't even memorize the ABCs. They be like A B C D E F B C D Z W X. It don't matter long as I got the melody. A B C yo A B C. I say A B C D A B C. It's A B C D A B C. A B C D E F G G G elemental B. A B C D E F G J K L elemental A B C. A B C D E F G J K L elemental A B C. A B C A B. What the fuck are you? What's wrong with you, R. Kelly? What are you doing here? Fantasia? You know, they can't read. Well, Fantasia can read, but not good. R. Kelly can't read. All right, anyway, Shaniqua. Okay, all right. Shaniqua says breastfeed until at least 2. Maybe 3. Wait, slow down. Slow. Chill. Señorita salida, please. Señorita salida, please. What's going on? Hold up. Emily said, suck and suck, subtract, suck. You done fucked your baby up. What a disgrace. What a that shit is what I call me a disgrace. That shit is what I call me a disgrace. I think there's more. Yo, your baby learning the melody instead of the damn song, instead of the words to the song. Like, yo, you listen. Johnny, you gotta get them lyrics together. Wow, I like the beat. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah. What's up, Ramona Piccolo? How you doing, Ramona Piccolo? Thanks for coming through. You know what I mean? Yo. Be like, the words later. When you don't know the words to all the songs, but I bet you know that beat. He got the beat. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, A, B, C. I said it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, elemental A, B, C. I said A, B, C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, C, B, E, G, B, G, E, elemental E, P, Q, R, Z, Q, R, Z, Q, Q, R, Z, and A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, C. A, B, C, A, B, C, yo, your child gonna be a foster kid, baby. Your child gonna be a foster kid. Your shit fucked up, man. Yo, if y'all want to see this whole video, it's called the ABC Beat Challenge Song. Y'all can go on my channel and check it out. The ABC Beat Challenge Song. Oh, Greg, you out of here. You're so out of here, dude. You're so out of here. Yes, you are. You're fucking gone, man. I mean, like, you're the gonest. No one is gone as you. All right, man. Let's do these. Let's do the poll question. We got 40 votes on the poll. All right, let's see what it's hitting for. Have you ever known someone who couldn't read? Did they admit it or try to hide it? 47% says yes, and they admitted it. 47%. Interesting. 22% says yes, and they tried to hide it. Okay. 10% said, I knew a family who couldn't read. And 20% says never met anyone who couldn't read. Interesting. All right. We're going to get into these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious January 15th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. Joan Marie Martinez and Joanna Lorene, and also Maria Reynolds, Mitch Bonzo, Percy McIntyre, no relation, but what up, guys? And also D. Bell, Suzanne Lewis, my man, go getter Keith Duckett. What up, my dude? And last but not least, comedian Tommy Too Smooth. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious January 15th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, yo, parents who can't read, yeah, they got the one thing that they need, and it's essential, and they don't have it. Yo, so what are you going to do? Probably fell into a habit. It can lead to drugs, or it can lead to crime. Both drugs and crime are the same, but I'm not trying to diss nobody, but it's a real situation, and I don't want to be in that type of thing. I'm hating that it has to be like that for the people who don't have a lot. The poverty is coming through. It's like a shot that you're taking that you don't know the serum, and shit is getting messed up right now, and you got gotta hear them. When they talking, they squawking, they complaining. They don't really even know the deal, but I'm still straining just to get my voice out and try to be heard. And I ain't trying to be the smartest motherfucker. Yo, you heard? Yo, listen to what I'm talking about. Yo, this is a serious situation, so walk it out. I'm sorry for the stutter. I utter, yo, it goes out of my mouth sort of like butter. And you know, anything but butter tastes good. But yo, not learning how to read is fucked up in the hood. And it ain't just in the hood. This motherfuckers made a million, still ain't got that shit. Remember, Dexter Manley. Dexter Manley played for the Washington Redskins. Motherfucker graduated high school, went to college, made it into the NFL, and could not read. The nigga played football so good that they just kept pushing him ahead from grade to grade, all the way to college, to getting drafted in the NFL, and couldn't read. Had a drug problem, and that's when all of this shit came out. It's a sad state of affairs. So it's a real big problem in the for impoverished people, but it's not always just them. There's some people who have a couple of dollars who can't read as well. Because it ain't where you start, it's where you finish. Listen, man, I want to thank all of y'all for coming through. I really do. I want to thank y'all for all y'all information. I want to thank all of y'all that was so candid tonight, because you don't have to tell your story, and y'all chose to do that, and I commend you for doing it. I really, 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 really do. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night. 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 But we'll be back tomorrow night at 1 a.m. in the morning. 1 a.m. in the morning for the music show, because on Fridays we are here at 1 a.m. instead of 2 a.m. So make sure y'all keep it locked. Make sure you set your timers, your alarms, and your reminders and all of that. Hit the like button before y'all get on up out of here. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it, because I really enjoyed it. So with that, I bid you adieu. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. Peace. All right.